Hi, this is Erica Gimpel, and you're watching Du Bois Podcast.
I thought I had it this time. I thought the dream would be mine. Hoping to fly, I thought. Oh, how I wish I just didn't care at all. 'Cause when you don't care, you don't cry. It won't hurt if you don't try. But I still believe in all my dreams and all that I can be. I'll learn from mistakes, do all that it takes to make it eventually. 'Cause I still believe in me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Boys Podcast. Today, I'm joined by an incredibly talented guest. My guest, she is an actress, singer-songwriter, producer, and screenwriter. You may have seen her in some of my favorite roles she's done, such as Fame, where she portrayed Coco Hernandez, ER, where she portrayed the character Adele Newman, and God Friend of Me, where she portrayed the character Trish. She has done many, many more roles as well. So welcome, Miss Erica Gimpel. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Okay. So what have you been up to? How are you doing?
Doing good. I'm really glad that fall is coming. It's been a really hot summer here in California, so hot that I'm just really grateful that it's getting cooler. And we had some rain the other night and an electrical storm. I went out in the backyard and just let the water kiss my face. It was I just love, different weather. And but I'm good. I'm, working on my screenplay right now, and but I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I've been good too. In the beginning of quarantine, I graduated actually high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of quarantine, so you
Yeah.
you didn't get to have a ceremony then. You had to do it virtually?
Yep.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I feel. Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Congratulations though for graduating in such an kind of an intense process of a whole new way of life. I mean, that must have been different.
Sure. And then I actually figured doing these podcast interviews to help cheer people up, positivity. That's what I like to do. My message.
It's beautiful. We need it. The world needs it. So I'm so glad you're doing it.
Thank you. Okay. So what made you want to become an actress, would you say? And who's your biggest inspiration for acting?
That's a great question. I really knew at 8 years old I wanted to be an actress. My parents were artists. My mom was a concert singer. She sang classical music. And she was actually pregnant with me at 8 months old. And she was singing an aria in an opera called Porgy and Bess. And the story is that she shares, which I love, is that when she would have to hit these really high notes, I would move over so she could have enough diaphragm space to breathe, But anyway, and when I was 8 years old, I went on the road with her, and she'd go on tours. And so I got to be a part of the chorus children. And there was a scene in the opera where my father died in the show, and I actually did in acting what's called a substitution, where I imagined my real father passing away. And I just, in that instant, started weeping on stage at 8 years old. Because I really believed, I love one of the definitions of acting is to, if I can remember that definition, it is to live truthfully under imaginary circumstances. So I really believed the truth of that situation. So I started crying, and I just thought, wow, if I can do that, it just really, it was very powerful, that experience. So from then on, I wanted to be an actor. And there have been so many, over the years, so many influences of artists that just inspired me in the mission. And I'll just tell you, like, one of my acting teachers in high school talked to me about an actress named Eleanor Duza, who was a French actress from the 1800s. And she had a journal that she wrote, or actually, no, I'm sorry, it was a biography about her, but there was a lot of her own words. And just because she was such a revolutionary in terms of she brought real emotions to the stage, when at that time it was very much like um, like, oh, darling, I got kind of like fake acting in a way. And she really brought true emotion, and she would move people in a really profound way. And so I just thought, I want to be like that. And that was at 17. It was just sort of that kind of devotion to the art.
Yeah. That's cool, because I think if I remember correctly, I think isn't your father, right? Joseph. Like my name,
Yes, like your name. Yes.
wasn't he a short stories writer, I think?
He wrote short stories, but he also was a singer too, and he loved singing. And in the latter part of his life, he would do gigs in New York. He would sing, and we as a family would sing together. So music has also been a really integral part of my life.
I like that. See, because believe it or not, actually also as a hobby, write short stories. So that's kind of crazy. Like his name's,
Really?
yeah.
Wow. What are your short stories about? Are they all different?
I like to like make like mysterious dramas, dramatic, little mysterious type of thing.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, that's my stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what is your favorite role portrayed? Choose one.
Oh, wow. Hmm. I've done theater too, and I think I have two favorites. When you just asked that, I mean, this is unplanned, so I'm just going
Yeah.
with the moment. There was a play in New York that I did called Intimate Apparel, and it's by a really amazing playwright named Lynn Nottage. She actually has won the Pulitzer for her work.
Oh,
And it was a really interesting historical piece that took place in the early 1900s. And I was playing a prostitute in a bordello house, but it was really complex because the play really looked at the different ways African American women had to survive at a certain time in our history. But it was really about love and about friendship. And I just loved it because I played piano in it, and I got to wear these really amazing, early 1900s kind of corsets and all sorts of, but it was just a deep play about, how we survived at a certain time in life. So that was and it was the language was so poetic that I just loved her writing. And then another play, it was called Ondine, which is a French playwright, and that's about a water nymph who falls in love with a man on Earth, and then they separate, and it was just fun to play that role. It was just really special. So those are the two that come to mind when you ask that question. So
yeah. Yes, yeah. Like I like doing Fame, ER, and God Friend of Me. I like those three especially.
oh, thank you. Yeah, that's television, absolutely. Fame was significant because I loved that character so much. And by also going to the school, performing arts, I felt, which the TV show and the movie were based on, I felt such a commitment to portray it as truthfully as possible. So it was like a vow I made internally. Like, I really want to make my classmates, my schoolmates happy, make them proud. And I really believe, like what you're saying about why you're even doing your podcast, about really generating positivity and hope in the world. And I knew that I was just dedicated to doing that. And I felt the show really inspired people around the world. And that became, that wasn't clear then, but as time went on, it really became clear that that's what it generated. And ER was really powerful too, because playing a social worker, dealing with really intense storylines about based on real events in Chicago. It's so interesting that I had a friend who was really a social worker. And so I went into the actual, I trailed her. It's called trailing. I watched her in reality work with families in crisis. And that really gave me a lot of insight into what that work really entails. So that's the kind of actor I am. If I get a role, I'll go into that true line of work to understand it and to delve into it. And even with God Friended Me, in the beginning of the show, my character owned a music store, and so and I repaired instruments. So I found this cool music store in Manhattan, and I went up, and the guy was a saxophone player, and a saxophone repair artist, and he was showing me how to do stuff. And so I'm saying that's what I like to do, because I think it makes the work more rich, and I think it just gives you a sense of really rooted reality. So,
I like that. Okay. Now, I think later on, I'm gonna ask you like favorite music and all that, but I'm gonna ask you maybe later on if you could sing like a theme song, a certain one.
I don't know. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how we go.
All good. Okay. If you could pick a role in any movie, TV show, or play, is there a role you want to do that you haven't done yet, but you want to do it? Certain.
Yeah, it's my film that I'm writing for myself. That's the next role I am going to create and make happen. That's just, that's the next piece I want to do.
Nice. Okay. Now, over the years of your career, do you still keep in touch with co-stars and directors you've worked with?
Sometimes, we run into each other, or we rework together again. What was really cool is this past summer I was in New York, and I reconnected to Laurie Singer from Fame, which was so lovely, and we got to connect and spend some time with my mom too. Yeah, it's kind of fluid. I mean, there's some people that you genuinely create a friendship with, and so then you're in more connection with them, and some people it's more of a professional colleague, we've worked together. So it really depends, It depends on how life progresses. But I tend to work with people again, which is nice.
Who is the coolest person you've worked with? That might be tough. No.
Coolest person. Wow. Coolest. I worked with James Earl Jones. Dude, he was in Star Wars. He was like Darth Vader voice, but he was amazing to work with, because I just really respect him as an artist. It was just, we were playing father and daughter, and I just loved the way he speaks and the way he delivers law. It was very, I really enjoyed working with him. It's a lot. I've worked with a lot of people. This is why sometimes I like questions ahead of time, so I have time to like ruminate, but it's all good. We're in the moment. I'm leaping. Gosh, coolest people. I mean, the Fame days, I really was kind of in awe of Gene Anthony Ray when we were, in the beginning of time. I mean, I really was, but then I just felt I learned a lot from him in terms of fearlessness and in terms of, just dancing with everything you have. So I just want to speak to that. Working on ER with George Clooney, I learned a lot from him, in terms, not only as an actor, but as a person on set. There's a gift that some actors have where they because it takes so many people behind the scenes to make a show successful. And he was so great with the crew. He would always have the crew laughing and buying coffee or, sushi for everybody, like just that kind of sense of appreciation. And that really helps a show have a great spirit, and I have to say, working with Joe Morton on God Friended Me was a really special experience, because I so respect him as an actor. And I felt we found such a wonderful truth between us in our work. So that was really great. It was really, really, really wonderful to work with him.
Oh, I like that. Imagine if James Earl Jones would have said, "I'm your father," because he said that was funny.
Say it again.
Imagine if James Earl Jones said, "I am your father," like you said he was the father.
Yeah, he played my father in the Christmas movie we did. Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny. Also, it was really cool with Della Reese, from Touch by an Angel.
Yes, thank you for remembering that. Yeah, and Felicia Rashad doing that. That was phenomenal working with her. That was a very special time to be able to have with those people. And we were shooting that in Utah, and that was really a special experience. That storyline. It meant a lot to me doing that.
Like that. Okay, now, what director you think taught you the most? Is there a director you want to work with that you haven't worked with yet, but you want to work with?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I have a list of directors I want to work with. Um, One of my favorite directors directed a film called Moonlight, and it's early for me here, so my brain is waking up. Why am I having a brain freeze? Okay, hold on a second. I can't
Oh,
believe this. Barry Jenkins. I just had a brain freeze. Barry Jenkins, I love his work. Ava DuVernay, I love her work. Denzel Washington, I would love to work with him directing. There's so many people. And what was the other part of the question?
is there a director that taught you the most to help
Taught
out?
me the most. That's a great question. Hmm. Wow. Hmm. It's a lot of people I've worked with. I'm sorry. I'm just like,
Oh, okay. The career timeline of Erica Gimpel.
yeah. It's funny. I don't know. I mean, we have a lot of years between us, but there was a play called Agnes of God, and I played Agnes, and the director's name was Hal Scott, and he was a very well-respected director in New York. And I just think I learned, it was a very intense part. I was very scared to do it. And I just think I just grounded myself and went, like, just took my space on stage. I just remember him having an impact on me in my work. And then this other director, Kate Wariski, with the play I was telling you about, Intimate Apparel, she does a lot of Broadway now, but it was just, again, taking one space on stage and blocking and finding strength. Yeah, those are the people that come to mind right now. There's so many people, I just feel like, but those stick out. If something else comes back, I'm going to jump in and answer that. So.
Yeah. Now, Denzel, if any of Denzel or anybody else you mentioned watches this, hire Erica today, right?
Thank you.
Got you. Okay. Now, if you didn't go into like acting or like the industry at all, what do you think your career would have been? Or what interests and hobbies do you have besides the acting?
I really wanted to be a veterinarian when I was younger. That was a big thing I wanted to do. I think I would probably be a social activist if I mean, I do that even though but like full on, I'm really, and this is something I'll probably do later on in my life, is I'm very committed and want to contribute to uprooting racism from our country, from our world. And I think being of biracial descent also is a big reason that that's been important to me, because in my home, between my mother and father, it was never about like, oh, he's Caucasian, she's Black. It was like, these are my parents. And because they truly loved each other, I mean, they were married for 56 years.
Oh,
And that
right.
doesn't always equate love. I will say that not all marriages equate happy, but my parents really came from a place of deep love. And I just really, I want to find a way where we can, in our society, in our world, celebrate our differences rather than have them polarize us, and be able to celebrate the different cultures we bring to any table, because we just become richer as a society when we include different perspectives, different points of views, and with a commonality of wanting to cooperate and help each other grow and flourish. So I just feel uprooting injustices and, equality for people and, healthcare and just all, the important basics that everybody's entitled to. I just feel I'm very passionate about, and we'll probably go deeper into that as my life continues.
Okay. Now, favorite band and type of music, and favorite and favorite fame song. Favorite fame song.
Well, my favorite fame song is "I Still Believe in Me," which is the song that really, over time, has really even taken on more meaning, because as you went through the pandemic, we've never gone through this in our lives, right? And so my point is, as we look back on our life, different lines and words have more resonance, because I've had more experience of maybe not believing in myself when things, when things are hard. Or so now that when I sing that song again, I really realize, whoa, how important it is to believe in myself. And I think time gives you that perspective. Wow. I have so much music that I love, so many songs, so many. When you ask, I'm just going to go with what comes up first. When I was growing up, my favorite band was Earth, Wind and Fire. That was my favorite. The Isley Brothers. I'm a real 70s person. Yeah.
Oh.
But I've been really liking lately, the current music was Bruno Mars and that song Skate. I was really digging that song because I roller skate too. And I was like, yeah. So anyway, I just really like that Silk Sonic group that they put together. So
if I ever get Bruno Mars on, you want to come along?
Yes, of course.
That'd be really cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, before the next question, is there any way you could remember did I Still Believe in Me? Is there, a little bit of it, like a little tidbit, maybe
Let me have a sip of tea. Hold on.
Okay, sorry. I think you have a beautiful voice. That's why I'm so sorry.
Thank you. So funny to sing. I wish I had my setup, because to sing on Skype, it can sound funny. But anyway. I thought I had it this time. I thought the dream would be mine. Hoping to fly, I fall. Oh, how I wish I just didn't care at all. 'Cause when you don't care, you don't cry. It won't hurt if you don't try. But I still believe in all my dreams and all that I can be. I'll learn from mistakes, do all that it takes to make it eventually. 'Cause I still believe in me.
Wow, you still got it, Miss Gimpel. I'm sorry, that was amazing. I'm sorry. Good job. That was really good. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Okay. That was really. I'm sorry. That was really good. Okay. Favorite sports? You have favorite sports and favorite teams?
Basketball.
Basketball.
I love basketball. I just grew up watching it, so I really love basketball players. I have to be honest, I haven't been looking at the current teammates. I have not been looking at the current games, so I can't tell you one player currently that I love. But one of my favorite players was Iverson, because he was such an amazing just determined. He was a shorter guy. He had a lot of tall giants around him, but he would always score. He had so much heart, and he just was an inspiration to me. Yeah.
So is that your favorite team then? 76ers maybe?
Well, I don't, I used to, it was a mixture. Like there were times when I loved the Bulls. I really wasn't like a New Yorker, like everybody, I felt bad. The Knicks were always like the team you had to root for, but I was like, oh no. I hope Knicks fans aren't going to kill me right now. But anyway, I just feel like honestly though, but like even when I see like young people play the game, like in New York on 6th Avenue and 4th Street, there's a court, and it's like amateur people play there, but it to me feels so much heart. And I love watching young people play the game. Like this summer, I was out of town, and I saw this like a young person's tournament, and I just watched these kids play, and it was so amazing. It gives me just joy watching that game. I really love that game.
Oh, so if I ever get AI on too, you want to come on for that?
Sure.
Got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
now,
Kobe Bryant was amazing too. We got to give it up for Kobe Bryant. Yeah. Yeah.
the Mamba forever,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite food, and why is it your favorite?
Ooh. Salmon. I love salmon so much. That's one of my favorite foods. I just love it. I love salmon sushi. I love making salmon and teriyaki sauce. I love salmon.
So you should how you teleport some salmon to the computer?
Yeah. That's one of my
Okay.
favorite foods. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now that things are getting back to normal, any projects you have in the works?
Yeah, well, this is my passion project is my film called Rise. So this is the film that I'm in the process of. I'm waiting to hear back on one other thing, so I can't talk about it right now in terms of a TV thing. But that's the project that I have control over. So I'm very excited about that and bringing it to the screen. So.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, what's your advice for younger kids that want to become an actor? What's your advice?
That's a great question. My advice is that if it's something really in your heart that you're drawn to do, really drawn to do it, then follow it. And if there's I just think training is so important. So if there's like an acting school or an acting teacher that is really good about helping that individual, the person who wants to do it, not only find the project, but define for them, okay, these are the roles that I love. These are the kind of projects I want to be a part of. And then you get to exercise those kinds of roles, meaning like sometimes there's a film that you love and you say, oh, I could play that role. So then work on that film scene, a scene from that film in class. So you start building that. So you really are empowered with going, oh yeah, I can do that role and that role and that role and that role. And also write your own projects. We are in such an amazing time through social media, through Instagram, through where you can put out your own content. So it's not about waiting like what you're doing. You're creating your own show. You're not waiting for someone to go, oh, well, now we're going to give Joe a show. You're making it yourself. And I think this is a very empowering time to create your own projects, your own visions, your own stories that you want to tell, because everybody has a story that's important to share. I think we really need, as you're saying, stories of hope or things to inspire each other. And I just think if it's something you're really drawn to, then follow it. And also know that there are hills and valleys. When it's wonderful and you're working on a project you love, and then there are times when you're not and you're waiting because work is, it's unpredictable. So you have to be able to maneuver that as well.
I like that. I also like to add, like, stay humble and remember, like, where you came from.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's also an issue, with Instagram or like instant fame, for lack of a better word. It's seductive to have that kind of instant fame, but it's to really be what I like to call a journey woman or a journeyman, having years of being able to develop as an artist. It takes the love of the work, not the love of the notoriety.
Yeah.
That's fake. I mean, to me, that ebbs and flows. That comes and goes. You know, that doesn't, to me, that doesn't sustain you in being able to continually develop as an artist.
Yeah.
You know.
I like that. Okay, now is there anything you would like to promote and shout out, Eric?
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, I just really would like people to keep their eye open for my film Rise. I mean, that's what I'm really most excited about. So, and I will let you know when that happens so that you can put it out on your, let people know when they can see it. That's really what I'm most excited about.
Yeah. I also could link down your social media pages if you want me
Yeah,
to.
that would be great. Sure, that would be lovely. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Instagram, Twitter, I think, right?
Twitter, yeah. Yeah.
Got you. I'll say follow Erica here. I got you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any closing questions before I do my outro? Do you have any closing questions?
I guess for you, I have a question.
Okay.
What do you think out of doing your podcast during this time? What do you think is the one thing that's really valuable for you on these one-to-one interviews? What do you take away from them for yourself?
I feel happy. Like after I've done an interview with people, I like feel like a positivity, like going, like I feel happy when after like interviewing the person. You know, I just get so happy.
That's great. That's what it's about. Feeling good inside.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Miss Gimpel, for being an awesome and amazing guest.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome. And you stay awesome, Miss Gimpel.
You too.